The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Welcome back to Probably a Podcast. We have my favorite house guest here with us today. And we also have, like, if you're watching this at home, some adorable hats. We have my favorite breadwinning housewife. Love that. You coined that. Kenzie Elizabeth is back in the studio with us. If this set looks familiar, I will always shout out from the rooftops. I copied her setup at her house and it is gorgeous for that reason.
It's literally a couch and wallpaper. Like, I don't think you like copied.
No.
You know,
I didn't see this on Pinterest. I didn't have this idea. This vibe didn't come to me from anywhere else other than seeing your podcast. So I am here to tell you, I copied you.
Obsessed. And you know, I just love coming over to this house. So it's like, this room feels like a home away from home for many reasons. Also, like, we do not need to have these hats here.
No,
when I texted you this morning asking if you had gotten them, I meant, like, do I need to bring you
I didn't see that text.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you just did that yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, of course.
okay.
Did you text me and say that? Sorry,
I texted
got
you
them.
and I said, did you get that from the team yet, the hats? If not, I'll bring them.
I got them.
Okay,
right here.
Okay, got
No,
it.
she saw me have it and I was like, I'm going to set these
So
up.
it was like on your own.
Yeah, no, I just love you and I love the hats.
No,
I love the phrase.
I'm obsessed with my ads from Chenoweth.
I really, my favorite thing, there's so many things I love about my husband, but one of my favorite things is having dual income household.
I was thinking about that when I went to your garage with your fridge in the garage, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, his like space, and it's just it's so nice that the other person in your life makes money. I can't recommend it enough. Okay, like it's really crazy. I've never experienced it, and I love it. The other day,
That's what I look forward to most of life.
Yeah, and I was saying something to him. I'm having a lot of, when am I not? But I'm having a lot of outgoings lately with like the nursery, and then just, you know, there's just this weird thing about me where I love to shop, and not me. And I just like, you know, it's that pivotal moment where you pull up your credit card statement and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, hey, and I like made a comment. I was like, a lot of outgoings, not a lot of incomings. And he's like, you're running low on cash, and I was like, and we like don't play that game, and I'm not like, can I have some money?
Yeah.
But like I had this thought where I was like, if I literally was running low on cash, my husband has cash. Yes.
You literally do have cash anyway.
Yes. Like I literally am obsessed. Okay. Anyways, dual income household. I love it, and that parlays me to my favorite thing though. The breadwinning housewife. Like, this is just such an iconic, because it also can mean you can still have a husband that, like, you know, pulls in some dough and is a hardworking man. And then you could be this housewife figure who's also breadwinning.
100%. Like, where breadwinning housewife came from was like during trigger warning, the pandemic. I know I was home, and also like I'm not a wife. I was probably a girlfriend every other week at this point in my life, right? So, but I just like I started to like love housewife stuff. That's when I got into like cooking and hosting and gardening and all that stuff. But like I was still the breadwinner. I was talking to someone and I was like, I basically become a breadwinning housewife. That's what it is. It's more of like an oxymoron, less of like trad wife.
No, and it's also not like a slight at anyone. You know what I mean?
No.
Like
it is just kind of iconic, and I'm obsessed.
It's iconic. I'm obsessed. And it also says breadwinning. It doesn't say like breadwinner. Like I'm not like I'm the breadwinner of my household. I'm just breadwinning and doing housewife shit. And then we also have a hosting journal, which you just showed me. Is it rude to call them junk journals?
No, well, I junk journaled back. I'm new to the junk journaling world.
Obsessed.
And I went back and I junk journaled in my hosting journal.
Okay, I see what you mean. That's really cute.
People don't have to junk journal. I just did that.
She has an incredible line. There's
a lot going on, Shannon. Like it's totally fine.
I love it. And this is not a Meghan Markle moment where we can't keep up with their names. I just forgot the actual verbiage and I wanted to get it right. Fair. Anyways, the line of housewares and
it's like helping. It's basically just like stuff to like gather the home.
It's basically
it's a home brand.
Better Homes and Gardens times like 1000, but the aesthetic is like so fucking good. And I just got a hosting journal. I'm really excited because I love to host. You know me, I'm about to redo the pantry and I really need it. You had so many ideas. She came into my pantry. She's like, do you have a gift wrapping station? I was like, no, gotta have one.
I literally made a Pinterest board.
Wait. She sent me a Pinterest board.
Yeah, it's so good.
And so when I have my pantry, I will say this is Pantry by Kenzie Elizabeth.
It's gonna be so stunning because what you have in there, it's just beautiful, and you also have high ceilings, which we don't talk about enough. Like seriously.
And I do have a lot. I'm a collector of dishware, and I love dishware. And like James will always be like, "Why do we have so many plates?" I'm like, "You need a plate for everything." So once we get it on and popping, then I'm gonna force you to host a dinner party here.
You're also incredibly festive, so like you need this.
I do love that. We've got like American flags hanging everywhere right now.
Every time I come over, it's like every month, every other month, like there's something new.
Oh, you actually did come over when I was like popping my pussy for spring and Easter. Meister.
That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, we are going to dive right into the episode. We are going to do an episode on pop culture. I thought it'd be fun. You know, none of these are super like breaking news things. They're just like some really interesting pop culture things that have happened over the last like month or two.
Love.
So we're going to give you our takes on them. Some of them might be hot. Some of them might be neutral. Some might be kind of cold. I don't know. But let's start with something that's very relevant to right now. And that is that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are in Nashville. They are here for the TEU, which is the tight end university that George Kittle, who's an iconic tight end for the 49ers, and a friend of mine, his wife, Claire, she's an icon. They've been putting this on for 5 years. And I've seen it go on for the past 5 years in Nashville, but it's just gotten bigger and bigger and more amazing every year. And this year I feel like is just like peak coolness. Like everything is happening. And of course, the Taylor of it all is she's obviously dating Travis Kelce, and there's one more person who is doing Olsen is doing the tight end university with George Kittle this year. And I think everyone's kind of wondering, like, I wonder if Taylor would come over. But she's such a supportive queen. Like, one thing about her, like, she's going to support her man. She's going to go. And it's always the shit you do not think. I mean,
It is always what you would never think.
I know she is a Nashville girly. Like, she started here, belongs here. This is where she grew up, other than Pennsylvania. But like, you know, Nashville's not like, well, that's random. She's in Nashville. It's like very.
No, but I'm sorry, Jason Aldean's on Broadway.
It's
very random.
When someone said, "Oh my gosh, Taylor Swift was at LA Jackson and then Jason Aldean's on Broadway," I go, "Okay, 2015."
Yeah.
Like that was like where we went in 2000. Well, okay, not 15. Like I don't know, like 2019. But it's just crazy how I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. But of course it did, because that's where they were throwing the events. Those events, they shut down like it was a private, you could see like security and like wristbands and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like she just popped into Jason Aldean's for a boogie on Broadway. You know what I mean? It was part of the events for Tight End University. But I was like, oh my God, look at her just out here like truly supporting her mans, like being like, yeah, there's going to be so many like random people in Nashville, but like, this is my man's thing. So I'm going to go.
No, it was very sweet. Also, you literally went to some of the events yesterday. I saw.
Yeah, I went to a brunch. I knew she wouldn't be at the brunch. There's a couple other events maybe she'll be at. I literally wouldn't say a word to her if I saw her. Unless she spoke to me, I wouldn't like go out of my way to talk to her. I could never. I could be the biggest. I'm trying to think of one person that I would be like, I have to walk over and say something to them. And I'm like,
Trisha Paytas. Not too.
Oh my gosh,
that would be it though.
But I would never be able to walk over to someone that I know is so famous that they would just love their solitude. You know what I mean? I would think to myself, they would think I'm so much cooler, aka never know I ever existed to begin with,
and forget immediately
if I didn't say something to them. Yeah. Like if I let them eat in peace, or if I let them like exist.
And it's kind of like reverse psychology, because then maybe they'll come over and say hello to me.
Yeah, and like maybe she'd be like, look at that cute little pregnant girl over there. I have to tell her how cute she is. Taylor would do something like that. So maybe if I see her at some event, she'll tell me I'm cute. And then I'll just be like, I love you. Okay, I am a hot coffee girl. I just am. I love it. But we're getting to the point of summer where sometimes a hot coffee is just diabolical. And I will make the switch. Okay, if I'm in my car with AC, like coffee's fine. But like when I'm like outside, I need cold brew. Okay. And cold brew was also the only thing that I could drink when I was like having an aversion to coffee. I had to reintroduce myself to cold brew. So I've become quite a connoisseur. Okay. And Trade makes it so easy to brew delicious cold brew at home, because sometimes I just do not feel like going out and getting it all. So I do love the like act and the ritual of making coffee at home. So they not only recommend the right gear to get you started, but they also source the best beans specifically for cold brew. Okay. It's like really does make a difference to have the right beans for the right coffee. So they have specific beans for cold brew from top roasters around the US. And it's, like I said, it's much more affordable than a cafe run and tastes way better. I don't know about y'all, but where y'all live, but in Nashville, some of the coffee prices are out of control. Okay. And it's just better than these store-bought concentrates. I know you guys can say like, oh, but just go to the grocery store, just grab cold brew out of the bottle. Like, no, this coffee is so much better than any store-bought concentrate that you're going to have. Plus, every coffee is roasted fresh to order and delivered so that I never run out when I need it most. It's just amazing. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the US for both hot and cold coffee drinkers. They have teamed up with 15 expert roasters to source the best beans, like I said, curate an exclusive cold brew collection, and it's just insanely delicious and consistent. Like it really is consistently great each bag. And they just
like provide a really great curated experiment, okay? And equipment that's easy to use. So since every bag is roasted to order, you will smell the difference from your very first cup, and it's just amazing. So for a limited time, Trade is giving away a free Hario cold brewer when you sign up for a cold brew subscription when you go to drinktrade.com/probably. So that is drinktrade.com/probably to get your free cold brew maker with select cold brew subscriptions. That is drinktrade.com/probably.
I think of all of it, the craziest part of this is her coming out with Kane Brown and the singing Shake
Okay,
It
so
Off.
that happened last night.
Yeah,
That's
that
crazy.
was crazy.
Do you know what I also saw someone say? It was Liz Woods. I always talk about Liz Woods on this podcast.
Literally obsessed with her.
Same. I love her so much. She posted, and it was such a good take about how you see a lot of celebrities who genuinely, you can tell, are like eye roll, like, oh my God, about singing their old songs. Like maybe they're cheesier songs, maybe they're older songs from when they were younger, but they know they were motherfucking hits. So like Miley Cyrus isn't getting up there. Actually, she did recently, but I'm sure if everyone was screaming, sing the climb, she'd be like, okay, what, do you guys want to listen to my new stuff or not? And Taylor does such a good job of like truly loving and honoring those older songs that are like her cheesy for the younger generation kind of songs. And she literally looked like she was enjoying herself. Taylor Monaco, my friend, obviously, that she is
By the way, she followed me today, and I have never felt cooler in my life.
Oh my
Because
God.
I know that girl doesn't like that many people. Okay? I know that. I know that. And then we were together recently, and she like laughed at something I said, and I was like, oh my God, I think she likes me.
No, I'm cracking up. I can't
And
wait
like,
to tell
I
her
love
that.
her. So I was like, oh my God. And then I saw that she followed me today, and I was like, I can't wait to come over and tell you. Like, this is so exciting.
I'm cracking up. I cannot wait to tell her you said that, because like honestly, it's true. Like she'll give, if she gives me a really nice compliment. Yesterday she said something like about my cooking, or like how I just like it was like, she said housewife. She was like, it's just like so crazy just to see you. You're such a natural. Like you just whip together this food. These are her words, not mine. But she's like,
You just put together this with your fat ass and your perfect body.
Literally, I'm like, and your tits are so big. No, she was just like, you really can. She's like, sometimes I just wonder if Mike watches you cook, and it's like, damn, I should have married her. I'm like, shut up, Taylor. She's like, but you can just whip stuff together. I'm like, Taylor, and I tried to tell her, I wasn't even like fishing for more compliments. I was like, those hash browns were frozen. Like I made hash browns and eggs and cheese and a scramble, but like it was I didn't shred and drain and do the hash browns. I actually did that one time for James, and I was like, fuck this, I'm buying frozen hash browns.
Never
Like, why would
again.
I? And my mom was like, why would you do that? And I was like, I don't know. Anyways, it was really nice. And I even said to her, I was like, that is so nice. She's like, I'm really not trying to compliment you. I just think it's crazy. But like, even that, she's like, I'm not really trying to compliment you. And I was like,
don't take it.
okay, don't take it as a compliment. I'm like, okay. Anyways, we were having coffee this morning, and I was talking about you coming. I think I was just like singing your praises, being like, Kenzie's the best. I'm trying to batch so many episodes before I'm giving birth. And she's like, I'm like, could you come over in an hour and a half? And she's like, yeah, sure. And she's like, what? She was like, Kenzie, that's who was there whenever. And I was like, she's like, I need to go follow her. And
Oh
she's
my
like,
God. No, seriously,
So,
I'm obsessed.
no, she's great. But we were talking about Taylor, and I am always prepared for her to just. Taylor is not a hater about Taylor Swift at all, but she just could not care less. Like she just couldn't, which is just like, you know, really hard for me. But
it's kind of that way about like everything. It's not just Taylor. So it's like pop culture, right?
Pop culture,
Yeah.
most of the time, she just, doesn't care that much.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes she'll have random things she's interested in, but yeah, for the most part, it's just like not her bag, you know? And I was talking about the Taylor Swift, and I was like, it's just pretty cool. She like got up there and sang Shake It Off. And Taylor Monaco was like, watched the video and goes, man, she really does look like she's having such a good time. And I was like, yeah, like it's not, I don't know. And she goes, look at her up there just singing. You know how it's like Taylor's thing to like sing in the rafters to every song and like mouth the words and like motion. Some people are like, it's so cringe. And some people are like, she's just having a good time. And she also knows she's going to be videoed 100,000 times. So she probably is like, let me look like I'm happy.
Yeah.
Anyways, even Taylor Monaco was like, that's really cool. I really like seeing her here in Nashville. And like, that's where she like started with her music career. And that's just really cool. And I was like, oh, nobody move. Taylor just said something nice about Taylor Swift. Anyways, yeah.
I love that she was tipsy too. That really added something to me. You can
love
definitely tell.
tipsy Taylor.
And I'm only hoping that like this means that debut is because she did say when she brought back all of her masters that debut is already re-recorded.
Yeah, and she said she liked it.
Yes, and she likes it. So I really hope that this is just, because she's very calculated. While she's like just doing random stuff too, like I do think that this is a good time for her to be in Nashville and be leaning into her roots and then also re-release
So
this.
Taylor Monaco was like, I wonder if this would ever bring her back to country music. And I thought, oh, bless you, have no idea. Like, but I thought on a larger scale, like, oh, this could be like when she starts being in Nashville a lot more and parlays the debut. I did think
perfect.
And it would be iconic and perfect timing.
That's what I've been looking forward to. Like, I actually, unpopular opinion, I mean, I like love Rep TV. Like, I'm happy with that. Whatever. I like want debut like that. Like,
so I wasn't a debut girly. I didn't listen. White Horse
God.
was a song that was on the radio, so like I listened to it.
I remember where I was when I heard Tim McGraw for the first time. I remember being in my neighbor's computer room, and we would watch the Our Song music video over and over.
Oh
and
wait,
over
now
and
that you
over
say
again.
debut, I guess I was a big listener of her hits on debut, but I'm not like a stan. Like I couldn't tell you the ones that weren't like. But I guess they were kind of almost all singles. No.
There's
like
a couple that
Our Song, Tim McGraw, Picture to Burn.
Oh my God.
That's on debut, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember
Those are the top three.
Yeah, and then White Horse.
Oh my God.
Is that on debut?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I
think.
remember in 15 because she had her any song that said anything about a redhead, I was like obsessed. And she'd sit next to redheaded Abigail. I'm like, oh, it's me. And I was like 15 at the time when that song came out, so I was just like loved. Yeah, I think it's just truly really cool just to see her here and just vibing and chilling. And it's just so, I know it shouldn't be unexpected anymore because she keeps proving to us that like what her man does, she will support. But like still, I'm like, not you at Titan University, girl. Like so cool.
No, it's crazy because Taylor Swift has reached truly like an alien level of fame.
Correct.
There's no one in her lane. And
Taylor Monaco said this. I go, it's just crazy. She's the most famous person in the world. She goes, I will give you that. She's got to be up there with, and she's like, you can tell she's trying to think, and she goes, yeah, one of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah, if not especially by the time, like, I don't even think she's comparable. Like, yeah, sure, there's like the Beatles and things, of course. But like, and I'm sure I know their fans are crazy and whatever, but I just think that the level of Swiftie, like, we haven't seen a fandom like the Swifties to that extent. Also because of the time that we're in with social media.
You're
so,
right.
Like, I just don't think that.
But you just made such a good point. Like we were only able to see of course you can see the level of Elvis. Taylor compared it to Elvis. Taylor Monaco was like, it's like she's like Elvis, and I'm like, yeah,
but
and you
even
don't
like
get
Morgan
that.
Wallen was selling more than Elvis like recently,
Right?
And
but
that's just because
the
of
stardom, not the
yes.
sales, the stardom of it all. And it's like crazy to think that 50 years from now, people will look back at Taylor Swift like the Beatles, like Elvis, like she's in that lane. So
no,
it's
so crazy. Someone said the other day, or I saw something on TikTok of this girl explaining to her daughter that like at one point Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus is more famous than Taylor Swift. I'm like, that's actually so crazy. And I love Miley Cyrus. Like I'm a huge Miley fan, but
me too.
I just think it's so crazy to have seen. And also just with like the Swiftie fandom, like I was 8 when that all started.
Yeah.
And I've been there like since then. I've gone to every single tour. I went to Eras 6 times. Like I'm like locked in.
Oh my God.
But I'm
so
not
jealous.
like level of a Swiftie that's like staying home and like looking for Easter eggs 24/7.
Yeah.
I get into it for sure, but I'm not like I'm not like the top, you know what I mean?
You're not in there like that.
I'm not in there like that.
You're
like,
not decoding. You're just truly a fan of the art.
And I like will make my guesses and I'm not making the content on it. Even I remember like starting on YouTube, like I don't even remember everyone like talking about any artist like that on social media. Like I just think the social media landscape has changed fandoms so much, and it's been really evident to see with Taylor Swift specifically because obviously her fame, she's gotten so much more famous.
Right.
But just to see like even the amount of access that we had, like growing up too, there was that one site, I didn't even know about this growing up until like way later. There was a website that, I think it was like Oceans or something. I don't remember, like something with like waves. I'm probably completely off there. That was like a Reddit, but for Disney stars. So like a lot of like Miley Cyrus smoking weed, like the Jonas, all that stuff was on this one website. I didn't know about that as a kid.
Interesting.
But it was a thing. But now it's like, that's just everywhere on TikTok.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
now
the access
TikTok,
is so different.
It's really true. It's really true.
With summer in full swing, I am feeling that familiar urge, the one, you got the itch to refresh your closet. You're like, I need new things. But listen, I'm trying to not waste money on pieces that I'm only going to wear once. We don't do that anymore. No more fast fashion, Shannon, for just one season, etc. Like, no, we got to invest in quality pieces. And that's where Quince comes in. So their clothes are timeless, but they feel luxurious. They look elevated, and the quality is way beyond what you would expect for the price. It is not fast fashion, let me tell you. It is the kind of wardrobe upgrade that just clicks. So think 100% European linen tops, okay? Like bougie, but starting at $30, okay? Washable silk dresses and skirts, soft cotton sweaters. They have so many things, you guys, really giving you that European summer feel. Versatile warm weather pieces that you're going to reach for again and again because they're just classics, okay? And here's how they do this. So the best part is Quince is half the cost of similar brands. And if you're wondering how the heck can they do that with keeping the quality so wonderful, it's because they work directly with top artisans and they cut out the middleman, all right? So Quince gives you luxury without the markup. We love to see that. I have gotten Quince so many gifts for people at this point. It is truly my go-to because when you read the tag and you see 100% linen or 100% cotton or 100% leather, it's just quality and craftsmanship that you can't, deny when you see these materials. And I love that when I'm buying these gifts, I'm not breaking the bank, okay? And really, really most importantly to me, this kind of goes back to the fast fashion thing, is Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. So they are doing it the right way, okay? They really are. They have a lot of travel options as well. Like I got some really cool leather bags and a leather wash bag for my brother-in-law, but then of course, I'll be shopping for myself. I got James some amazing linen pieces for this summer. We're currently in Barbados, and when I tell you, we are literally using them like no tomorrow because nothing beats the feel of just 100% linen. So if you guys want to give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince, go to quince.com/probably for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/probably to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/probably.
Parlaying into another singing pop culture moment. And I don't know if you're going to know this one, but I just saw the video and I feel like there's been a lot of hot takes about it, and I actually don't have that hot of a take. Okay, also, like, following Liz Woods is the best thing ever because a lot of these came from me just watching her stories recently. Absolutely. And of course, I'm a listener of the Toast, so like these are pop culture moments. But Kristin Chenoweth sang the national anthem. So she's from Oklahoma, and she sang at a basketball game, Oklahoma Thunder. Is that basketball? I love sports, right? Yeah. Basketball. So she sang the national anthem. Now, Kristin Chenoweth, obviously most iconically known for being Glinda in Wicked. And she has such a specific register of voice. Oh, and people were really like bothered and like, no, and like thrown off that she sang the national anthem basically in that Glinda voice. But I kind of think like you asked Kristin Chenoweth to come sing the national anthem. What do you expect? What the fuck did you think she was going to do? And it was really cool to me because I've never heard Glinda sing the national anthem. So I was just like, that's what you had this little 5'1", like precious little Glinda the Good Witch come out with her iconic voice, popular, like that's her register. That's her like intonation. Like that's what she does. And she sang it. But the thing that she did, I'll play it. The thing that she did that was so crazy was she did the Glinda, which is go like up octaves, like no one can do but her. But it was really impressive. I was like, okay, pop off.
God forbid she wants to be a little bit patriotic.
God forbid. Okay, here it is.
Oh.
Like, who can do that though?
No, not me.
Like, listen,
like let her live. And like they hired her. How is that her fault?
And would I prefer do my ears prefer Whitney Houston's national anthem? 100%.
Of course.
100%. Yeah.
I would say
for sure.
Over anything, yes.
But like, that's Kristen doing her thing. And that's literally specifically what she does. You know what I mean? If she had come out and just sang it beautifully, everyone would have been like, cute, nice. But like, that's not Kristen.
No.
She's Kristin Chenoweth. That's what she fucking does. Anyways, I had like a not hot take on that because, or maybe my hot take is that like I was not bothered by it.
Are people saying it's
like horrible? Like, how could she do that? Like that rendition of, and I'm like, you know what rendition of the national anthem was horrible that had every right of people to talk about it? Fergie. And she's come out and been like, yeah. No, I'll hold my hands up on that one.
You
like,
know that's every singer's like worst nightmare is singing the national anthem. So I actually have a lot of empathy for anyone who sings the national anthem because I hear them talk about on TikTok how it is a really terrifying thing to take on.
But like, how do you say no to like the most patriotic thing you could do? You know?
Yeah.
And my friend Justin Clough, he made such a good point. He was like, I don't know why anyone does. We were talking about a country singer who recently like went viral for like bombing on it, and he goes, I don't know why these managers are letting their there's like stars do it. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, the risk versus reward is so low. He's like, you have to think about it. He goes, you sing the national anthem, you do a great job. nobody's talking about it, right? You sing the national anthem and you do such an iconic, unreal, next level job, like Chris Stapleton, Whitney Houston. There's literally like 2 or 3 I can think of off the top of my mind that were once in a lifetime performances that people still talk about. He's like, the reward of that happening, yes, it's huge, it's massive, but the risk is not worth it because you bomb and that's all anyone talks about. And if you just do a good job, nobody gives a fuck. So it's like not rewarding to
personally, if I was musically talented, that would be the last job that I would take.
100%.
But I do want to, put this on the record. I would love to be musically talented. So if I were to be able, I would love to be asked. Of course. I need to be asked. I would say no, and I would have to figure out a really good excuse. I don't know, something's going on at home.
I'd say, if something's going on at home, I'd say,
can't make it.
Hear me out. What if instead of singing the national anthem, I did a beautiful rendition of Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue by Toby Keith?
I think that song. Yeah.
What if we did that instead?
What if
That
one? I risk versus reward on that one is way better.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my god, such a banger. Such a banger.
Can
Okay.
you imagine? You're like
at one of my shows.
Daddy served in the army.
And it lost his rada. No, I had a part of my live show that it's not the new special, it's the old special. It wasn't a special. I don't know what we're calling it. But basically,
special.
It was when I did my live podcast, and there was this part where somehow it got brought up, and I was in Alabama, to be fair. So like it was, perfect storm. And I was performing, and I said something about Toby Keith, and I jokingly was like, well, stick a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
Did everyone sing it back to you?
Everyone was like, hey, Uncle Sam. And then I'm not kidding. The whole audition, all I could think was, is Courtney getting this? Is Courtney getting this? Is Courtney getting this? Like, it was the most iconic moment career to date. Like, it was so cool. And when we were all done, I was just like, because they sang like the whole chorus. And I was like, guys, I love you. Like, this was
I
so
remember one night I was in LA and we were going to like, how they have like emo nights, they have country nights now.
Yeah.
Okay? And we were going and it was friends who like didn't know country and someone was like, oh, play Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. We played it for them. And like, they don't understand that the song isn't a joke. Like to them, they think it not in like a patriotic way. They think that like, when you hear
I just got so stoked. I said, oh.
No, like, when you hear country and you're like,
do they think it's like Dick Down in Dallas? Or did they think it's like
kind of like that?
Oh my god.
Like, but not in that way. Like they were like, oh, is this like real? Like they thought it was like a parody on TikTok. I'm like, you guys are so uncultured. Like it's crazy.
That's crazy.
I know, it was really crazy. I was like, oh, no,
like a song that's like funny is like Red Solo Cup.
Yeah.
Like that was a real song back in the day, but if someone was like that song, LOL, I'd be like, LOL. No. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue will bring me to tears.
No, they thought it was, and I was
I'll run through a brick wall.
No, they thought it was
I see what you mean.
Like I can't, and I was like, no, it's like a real song. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's a real song. Like, what do you mean?
No, he went on a world tour to Afghanistan and all these places and sang Mike Monaco, Taylor's husband, went with him overseas for one of those like shows.
That's crazy.
Insane.
Wow.
To help film stuff. Anyways, really just it's not a joke.
Yeah, just so you know.
It's not a joke. Okay. Anyways, let's see the next topic that we have. Oh, what are your thoughts on the Sabrina Carpenter cover art drama?
Shannon, I have never been less interested in a conversation on the internet.
Could you believe when I saw it popping off, I says to myself, hold on, why is this getting steam? And then I got to bring her up again. Liz Woods kept like reposting tweets and things about, and I'm like, wait, surely people aren't actually talking. Sure. Is that what you mean? You were like, wait, what? Why is this a conversation?
Yeah, I don't care to have that many opinions that are so negative towards, like, I don't,
right.
Like, to me, I felt similarly to your Instagram stories and you're like, hello, did you guys not grow up on like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera? Like, what do you mean?
Well,
like,
is this the first pop star you've ever seen in your life?
Exactly. But also I'm like, I'm not interested in doing like a dissertation on like an album cover, like whatever.
Breaking it down and people being like, maybe it's rage bait. Maybe she zooms out and it's actually a female doing it. I'm like, what are you guys even saying?
No, but like, I just feel like the way, Macy and I have been talking about this a lot the past couple of days. I just feel like the way that the internet took hold of this was just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like insufferable.
Yeah. Which by the way, the internet is, but the way they dissect things is so crazy to me. I'm just like, and I don't want to say like who has the time, because like I have the time. Like I could watch soap cutting videos and make time for that. Like I I don't mean who has the time, get a life. I just mean, don't you want to like talk about more interesting things?
Yeah.
Like I really couldn't. And I think I have a real issue, and I know I'm projecting because I think a lot of people, when I first started influencing and stuff, did this whole, they would say to me like, and my mom even said it because I grew up and I like did pageants, and then I, you know, even when I did pageants, they were like, you gotta like, don't say fuck. And I was like 18 years old and I was like, yeah, I don't care, say fuck. I've just always been who I am, you know?
Yes.
And so it's been one of those things for me where I've always disliked the concept of like, there are younger people like, what about the young girls that are looking up to you? What about the young girls that follow you? And since 2018, when I started getting a following, or whatever year it was, I was like, that is not my responsibility. Like, I have never claimed to be a Disney Channel star, which I guess Sabrina started out as, so maybe that's like what everyone's like, hey, you know, she can't do that. But it's like, you grow up and it's just crazy to me. The whole concept was, you know, like don't, everything doesn't have to be so sexualized. And I'm like, but not all of her stuff is. And she made it the best point. She's like, you guys are the freaks. The songs about sex, I have other songs on my album that aren't about sex. You guys blow up the ones about sex. Those are the ones that become singles. Those are the ones that are top charting. Like, y'all are freaky, not me. Like, she has a personality outside of it. And I don't know, I guess I'm just like so bored by the conversation of like, I'm just bored. I'm bored of people being like, there are young girls. Can't you do anything but talk about sex? Why did you have to do that? It's so degrading. Female power. I'm like, all the women talking about this are women talking about another woman, by the way. So stop being like, we should really like the hierarchy and the patriarchy. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck. She only does things for the male gaze. I'm like, you guys are such haters of women.
Yes.
Let women be women however they want to be women. If she wants to fucking pop her pussy on camera, then she can do that. And you guys screaming about feminism and patriarchy, you guys are literally holding her back. Like, shut the fuck up.
I also just think like, let people do what they want. Also, did you see an hour ago she posted a photo and goes, and here's an alternate cover approved by God, available now on my website with this?
No, yeah. I'm cracking
I was on the phone with Macy and she told me.
I signed some coffees and manzas from you guys, and here's a new alternate cover approved by God, available now on my website.
But honestly, like, if I was a pop star like that, or like had any of that level of fame, and people were attacking me, specifically like Christians, which is like the demographic that like tends to attack me. Even I am Christian, by the way. It's always them who are attacking me. Like, there's no hate like Christian love, and I love
there's no hate like Christian love.
Like, there's no hate like Christian love. I didn't coin that term, by the way. That's a thing. But like, it's always them, and I would make it my life's mission to do. I would be so petty, it wouldn't even be funny.
By the way, this photo, it's basically a picture of her with some like very strapping young gentleman in a suit, and she's like looking gorgeous. You know what everyone has said about everyone would have gone, you're not Marilyn Monroe, stop trying to be like. Everyone would have had a problem with this too. I can tell you right now what the trolls would have said. Like, also, so over her trying to pretend she's blah blah blah. Guys, listen up, because Simply Pop is new fruit-forward bevy of prebiotic sodas made with 6 grams of prebiotic fiber to support gut health, vitamin C, and zinc to support immune function. And the best part about it, it tastes delicious. I am seriously obsessed with this. It is so, so, so good. I have so many in my fridge right now. They have a lot of flavors, by the way. They've got, let me run through the flavors. I really was just about to tell you about my favorite one, which is pineapple mango, but I'll give you guys all the flavors, all right? They've got some really, really good ones. They've got 5 of them. They've got pineapple mango, which is my favorite. I'm just like a mango girly. Anything that has pineapple and mango in it, like that tropical feel, so good. But they're all good. They've got lime, they've got strawberry, they've got citrus punch and fruit punch. So whatever tickles your fancy, Simply Pop is going to have that for you with their prebiotic soda. It is so good. And 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, like, that's amazing. Your gut health is going to be on fire, all right? Plus that vitamin C and that zinc to help support immune function. I'm always looking out for my immune system. That is what I'm trying to do. But the best part is Simply Pop contains the real fruit flavors that you know and love with no added sugar. When I'm reaching for something to drink, a bevy of choice, I want to make sure it's got no added sugar. Okay, so that makes for the soda to be even so good, a juice would drink it. Okay, soda just got juicy. Okay, it's Simply Pop. It's a new prebiotic soda, and I really, really am just so obsessed with it. They've got so many different flavors. It's delicious, and you just can't beat it. Especially now that it's warming up, get that crisp prebiotic soda that you want without feeling guilty. Okay, so go to cokeurl.com/simplypop to find out where you can try Simply Pop. For a flavor that pops, Probably Podcast chooses Simply Pop. Go to cokeurl.com/simplypop to find out where you can try it.
here's really where I like land on it, other than like I just think like it's a lot of like women tearing other women down.
Correct.
Like, you're allowed to have opinions, whatever. She's like, I personally don't find it like so cool to have like all these like damning opinions on like Sabrina
Right.
Carpenter. However, like not however, but wait, what was my thought?
Oh, that's okay.
Wait a second.
Lose them all the time.
No, Sabrina Carpenter.
You said you're bored. Like you're bored of the.
Yeah, but who am I to criticize art?
Yeah.
Who am I to criticize art? I am not going to sit here and act like I understand it. There was a banana. The Dallas Museum of Art, they had a banana on the wall. I think it was taped at one point. $44 million, something insane like that.
And who are we to judge?
And who am I to judge? Okay, music is art. Photography is art. It's none of my business. I don't care.
And she's the creator. She really does write all of her own songs, co-writes them, whatever. Like, if that is what she decided was the essence of the album for the art, like, okay.
Yeah. Nirvana
Nirvana had a naked baby swimming in a swimming pool. And, like, I'm sure when it first came out, everyone was like, what? Was that Nirvana?
Was that what?
You know the little baby in the swimming pool? That's like, it was like a joke. It was like their album cover. It was weird as fuck. Like I was like, okay. Yeah, like that's the art. It's fun. It's cool. And it's like iconic to say, like if that's the art that you see fit for the art that you created, it's like the Taylor Swift. I mean, I hate to bring it back to her, but she was like, oh, was I too loud in my house that I bought with the money from the songs that I wrote about my life? It's like, let her do what she fucking wants.
Yeah.
I'm bored. Okay.
I just don't care. And like with that being said, like I'm sure I have a lot of opinions on like the dumbest shit ever that I'll like go do deep dives on.
Same.
But I'm not like I just don't. I don't know. I felt like so many of the people there were actually a couple videos that like the people that I love made that I actually like was like, okay, yeah, I get that, whatever, that was fine.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the stuff that I was just seeing like tweets of and stuff, it just felt like people were trying to fill a word count and use big words.
So
you know what I mean?
And here's the thing: if you just like want like Jackie and Olivia, they did a toast episode, and that happened to be one of the conversations, and they were both like, "Listen, we are self-proclaimed prudes. Like, we don't care for it. Like, it's what Olivia made a good point. She's like, my daughter loves Sabrina Carpenter, so that cover pops up on the car screen, and like, I just wish she like could do something. And I'm like, you're totally allowed to have that. That opinion to me was not like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? That was like totally like have that opinion. Because they didn't say that and then be like, and fuck Sabrina Carpenter. And then Jackie made a point that I was like, I could see that, where she was like, it's just such a low quality photo. It looks like an iPhone photo versus the one that Sabrina just shared, which does look a lot more glam and like high gloss and high res. And I'm like, yeah, but like you said, it's art. Like it's it's whatever. So there were some opinions that I'm like, I could see your point. Like, sure. And like, if you are, I am of the, and this is what I said on my Instagram story. I grew up with friends who had moms who would let them listen to Britney Spears, but only like, she's a lucky, she's a star. Like they could listen to that and they could listen to Hey Baby One More Time, but like they were not buying their daughter the Slave for You vinyl copy with the posters you could hang in your wall. My mom rolled her eyes, but I was literally, I'm a
me too.
slave for you. Like, and my dad was sort of like, she should be listening to this. And my mom's just rolling her eyes like, whatever. Like my mom was cracking me up when I was just home this weekend for my baby shower. She was talking about how, we accidentally played the song Blue Strips in front of Taylor's children, and now they're obsessed with the song Blue Strips. And we're like, oh no. And they'll be like, Blue Strips, play Blue Strips. And we're like, oh no, let's play something else. And they're like, Blue Strips, Blue Strips, Blue Strips. And we're like, fuck. And so we were laughing because they kept asking for it on the boat. And my dad was like, what's Blue Strips? And I was like, I'll play it for you. And the girls were losing their mind, like loving it. My dad's like, oh my God. And I was like, Blue Strips, throwing tits, bag tits in a strip club. He's like, Shannon. I'm like, I know, we really fucked up on that one. But anyways, it's like at the end of the day, it's harmless. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like there's no real harm or foul going on there. Okay. Anyways, my mom brought up a good point. She was like, I'll never forget when I picked you up from the YMCA camp, Christian camp that I took you to. And you were like, do you want to see the dance that my bunkhouse made? And we were like, sure, honey. She's like, the only other camp you'd been to was Vacation Bible School, where you were singing Our God is not, and like learning the sign language for it. And she's like, I will never forget a bunkhouse full of 9 or 10-year-olds playing It's Getting Hot in Here. But like, and we were all cracking up because Taylor's like, oh my God, I remember listening to that song too as a child and being like, literal, like, it's hot in here.
Yes.
So we're taking off all our clothes, like not in a naked way.
No, like you truly thought it was 100 degrees outside.
But in our dance, we had worn like big t-shirts over another tank top or something. And we literally went, it's getting hot in here, and took our t-shirt off and went, so take off all your clothes. And I was like, watch our dance. And my mom's like, oh my God. And she was like, I'll never forget this little glitter blue boom box playing it. And I'm looking around, where's the counselor? And we're like, it's getting hot in here. And she was just like, oh my God. And she was like, that's just life. That's like kids, like whatever. So it doesn't bother me because I just grew up with a mom who was like, okay. Now, if I truly had started like, you know, dressing like Christina Aguilera at age 11 and like wanting to like do sexual things, my mom would have been like, whoa, 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 whoa. But like, you're just kids who like watching that like pretty girls dance.
I think that's a good point because I grew up in a very similar household. And I was watching, I remember like Sex and the City at 5. Like I remember watching that show with my parents.
Oh, I watched Desperate Housewives with my mom.
Oh yes, we had all of that on. Like
never watched it with never watched Sex and the City, but watched that one with my mom and watched it back as an adult and was like, what the fuck was my mom letting me watch this with her for?
Seriously, like, and I remember that, and I was not sheltered in the slightest. So maybe that's why I'm like, I just like, okay. I will say, I do think this is a good feature that Spotify should do, or Apple, or whatever, cars. Maybe you can like switch album cover for it. Like there should be like a kids thing.
If it's a clean song, maybe there's clean album art, because I'm sure that they play clean versions. Like maybe there's literally just a feature that says like turn album art, and then when you turn it, it just is like, it just says Sabrina Carpenter in the song. Like sure,
yeah, fine.
Yeah, that's actually, you know what? That's a great compromise.
Like I can get that, but whatever.
Let's talk about So me, I feel like I've been like so nice about everything so far, but like I just know I'm gonna be mean about this one. Okay. Let's talk about Meghan Markle's podcast ending. After one season, which was 2 months worth of episodes, if you're wondering, that was her season.
So that's 8 episodes.
So that's eight episodes. And let's talk about her. And by the way, they teased to the podcast for over a year, remember? And then it came out and it changed its name. And then it got picked up by Lemonada. And it was this huge thing. They threw like millions behind it. And then it was out for 8 episodes. And then she has decided to pull back. And her reasoning, which is like, I think what triggered me the most, I'm all for quitting. And actually, this is like so funny that I'm going to bring this up, because I've brought this up many times in my podcast before I always talk about Lauren Elizabeth and how I was obsessed with that video that she put out where she announced that she was quitting her podcast. And I am going to get it wrong. Basically, she's like, hey guys, so I'm quitting. And you know, she was so matter of fact and like, yeah, and I'm quitting because I don't want to do it anymore. And when I started this thing, it was audio only, and that's what a podcast should be. It's just audio. Now it's video. And now if you don't have the clips, and if you don't have this, and you don't have an Instagram page with 1 million followers for your podcast, she's like, it's just not what I started it out as. And I also just like don't want to do it anymore. So like I'm quitting. And I was like, I'm obsessed with you. Immediately went to the comments, and everyone else felt the same way I did. Like everyone's like, make quitting good and great again. Like everyone's like, bring back quitting. And I was just like, it was such like an iconic move from her, and it just made me have so much respect for her, right? For quitting in that manner. And funny enough, the Toast, which obviously I'm a listener to and love, talked about this topic. Jackie had on guest host Lauren Elizabeth, and Lauren Elizabeth literally talked about quitting her podcast. And she's like, yeah, you know what's funny? And Jackie referenced the video on TikTok. She's like, yeah, you know what's funny? That video went so viral on TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, in my head, I'm like, yes, I talk about it all the time. And she's like, and I was like, oh no. Everyone's like, yes, quit. And she's like, oh, I kind of thought everyone would be like, no, no, don't quit your podcast, which is also so funny and so Lauren Elizabeth to say. Like, she's just such a funny person. But like, I was like, oh my God, that's me. I talk about it all the time, how much I love it. And she's like, yeah, not that video going viral. And I was like, oh.
No, that's actually
I'm like 100 of the views. Like, I love that video.
This episode of Probably Podcast is brought to you by none other than Huggies Little Snugglers. Now, Huggies is the only leading brand with all-around blowout protection for sizes 1 and 2. Now, I'm really starting to learn a lot about diapers here, and I am getting close. Okay, we still got the baby in the belly, but soon enough, she gonna be here, and we're gonna need diapers, and I want the ones that work, because I know, may not be a mother yet, but I know what a blowout is. Okay, I've got 3 goddaughters. I've been a part of their lives in more ways than just picking out cute outfits and buying them sweet little teddy bears. I've changed diapers. I know what a blowout is, okay? And all the parents out there, they know there's nothing worse than a blowout, okay? Because they're always going to happen when you're not ready. You know, never just at the house. No. Of course not. On an airplane, in a public park, that's when the blowouts are going to happen. So if you want to ease your blowout anxiety, which is apparently a real thing, okay? Like it really is, then you should switch to Huggies Little Snugglers because you shouldn't have to live your life worrying about how you're going to deal with the next inevitable blowout. So like I said, ease your blowout anxiety by switching to Huggies Little Snugglers. Now, Huggies Little Snugglers are up to 100% leak proof with blowout protection in the front and back. That is important, okay? Because we know blowouts do not discriminate, all right? Comes in sizes 1 and 2, and you can truly feel confident relying on them for your little ones. So Huggies Little Snugglers now with blowout protection in every direction. Sizes 1 to 2. Huggies, we got you, baby.
No, speaking of Lord Elizabeth, I am wearing Lord Elizabeth's.
Are you?
Today, yeah, they're really stunning. They're perfect.
And they are gorgeous, and so is she. And
she
so
is
are
my
you.
everything. I will say, also, the best part about that video, which I also thought was iconic, was her saying, I don't have that much to say. Like,
yes.
She's like, I have YouTube, and there's Instagram, and there's TikTok, and there's whatever. I don't have anything else to say. I'm a mom now.
So I want to bring, this is definitely going to take up the rest of this podcast, I feel like, because I have like so many topics from this. But the thing that bothered me, the thing that triggered me about Meghan Markle quitting her podcast, I could care less. Literally quit. I don't care. She literally said, there's been so much hype around this podcast and there's so much excitement, and I am so sorry to let you guys down. But she basically said she was like quitting it because she needed to focus on her home line and her Netflix her show. Okay, you big fat liar who lies. Like, it was a flop. Like, the podcast was a flop. Like, it was not good. It did not take off.
But what, your podcast starts flopping and you have to quit, would you say, what are you going to say? It's flopped?
No, what she should have done is not quit after 8 episodes.
Agreed.
Like, you literally should have done it for a year and then been like, listen, I've got a lot on my plate. I enjoyed the podcast while it lasted, but honestly, I would rather shift more focus and energy. I'm doing too many things at once, and I'd like to shift my, kind of what she did end up saying, which is I'd like to put more energy into my home line and into my Netflix show that is very popular, and everyone likes her Netflix show, actually, or likes it or hates it, whatever, but it's getting great views. It's popular, you know? I just could not believe that she was like, there was so much excitement and hype for the second season. I'm like, no, there wasn't. Literally, no, there wasn't. No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't.
Yeah.
It was not a good podcast, and it just wasn't. It wasn't, and it wasn't not a good podcast because it couldn't have been. People would have wanted her to have a podcast where she talked about herself and her own life, and she had people on that kind of like asked her questions, and maybe like she had a co-host that kind of like they dug deep into her life. But instead, as you know, and as I know, it's very difficult to do a podcast by yourself. Very difficult, which Lauren Elizabeth talked about as well. Like, you always feel like you have to have a guest because there's only so many solos you can do before you're burnt out. And as you guys know on the Probably podcast, you know, boo bop phase where I like can't, I say that that's like my era. I'm like, I'm entering boo bop I have nothing to say land, and that is not good for anyone. Okay, I'm burnt out. They're listening to me tell the same story and be like, have I told this story on the podcast before? And they're like, yes, we know you all did meth by accident in Mexico, like Shannon, fucking shit.
Also, you told that story at my, that's so funny because you told that at my live
well, like,
show.
because I'll always drop like, yeah, I did meth by accident, and everyone's like, tell the story, and I'm like, no, trust me, you do not want me to tell the story. I've told it so many times.
It is such a good one though.
But anyways, it's just one of those things where I get how difficult a solo podcast is, but it is crazy to me the way she announced it. And it's also just, it goes to show, like, really seriously doing a podcast is not for the faint of heart. And there's this, I've read this before, but have you seen this thing about the probability of podcasts? And okay, here's what it says. 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. That's 1.8 million who quit. Of the 200,000 podcasts left, 90% will quit after 20 episodes. That's another 180,000 gone. So to be in the top 1% of podcasts listened to in the world, you only need to publish 21 episodes of your podcast.
That's insane.
That's how often people start podcasts and don't finish them because they literally like don't understand how much hard work it is.
I remember when I launched my podcast and talking to Michael, and he told me at this point, this is like 5-6 years ago, he said to me, 95% of podcasts don't make it past the first year.
Yeah.
And that, it really is just like sticking with it.
Yeah. And that's, how many episodes is it a year? If you did an episode every year and 52. Didn't take a break, 52. Oh my God, by the way.
You're pregnant, it's fine.
By the way, I was like 385 divided by, by the way, it's 365.
I was gonna let it go.
Oh my God. Anyways, 52 episodes. And like I take breaks just because I work for a wonderful company that allows me to like pick how many breaks I want. Realistically, you could batch episodes and put out 52 a year. I know a lot of people that do that are like, I ain't taking an ad break. Like
I've never missed an episode in 6 years.
I mean, I'm like, I know who does that. You.
No, me, yeah.
Oh my God. Like even when.
But I batch. Like,
yes, you batch, but like that is iconic. Like I'm pretty sure Amanda Hirsch doesn't take breaks either.
Yeah,
like
I
don't think she does. She just either batches or she's like, I'm putting an episode out. Me, I'm like, so how many weeks can I? What does my contract say I have to do? Like, technically 42. I'm like, 42 it is. 42 it is. When are we taking those little 10 weeks off? And by the way, I never plan it correctly. Me and Courtney will meticulously be like, exactly what weeks do you want off? I'm like, these weeks make the most sense. And like, I fuck it up every time. Like with my wedding, I was on my honeymoon recording a very cavalier recap being like, I want to fucking kill myself because I should have taken like the month off after, not before. It was like a whole thing. Anyways, all that being said, it's just hard. It's the consistency is difficult. And if you don't have guests lined up, if you don't have these days, you do kind of need a video component. People prefer it, you know.
Yeah, you have to.
I mostly listen to podcasts, but I'll be damned if I want to watch a podcast and I don't have the option. I'm like, what do you mean it's audio only? Like there are times where I'm like, I need to watch this. And if you can't, like I am kind of like perturbed.
I watch a ton. I listen to a ton and I watch a ton. I'm a huge like consumer of podcasts. Here's the thing. I'm not a Meghan Markle hater. I like Meghan Markle. I don't care. But I think with anything, I don't think 8 weeks is enough to call it quits, especially with all that hype. And then changing things already so soon. And like that
Right.
to me, it feels crazy.
I also don't think that someone made her quit. Like I don't think Limonada.
No,
or her
and by
network-
the way, they're probably pissed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're like they were probably like, we don't even care if it's not getting enough views. Like, just keep putting it out, be consistent, let this be your thing. I guarantee she was like, and you know what? I don't really feel like doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And fair, but like, Meg, there's so many people rooting for your downfall on this one. Like, just stick it out so you can at least be like, yeah, I did it, and then it wasn't my thing.
Agreed. I also think you're so right. People want to hear more about her life, especially with her like Martha Stewart-esque like
Yeah, we
Netflix
love
thing.
that.
She should have gone. I think she probably, because what, wasn't it like female founders or something?
Yeah, she switched it up. At first, it was just like a podcast, and then she was like, actually, it's called The Archetypes, and it's all about like female founders. And then like she was just like, that's just also been done before, and I don't need Meghan Markle to lead the charge on that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't need Meghan Markle doesn't strike me as like the perfect interviewer, much like myself. Okay, like let your guest talk. Who me couldn't do it. Like she's not the person to be doing that. She's not someone that's like an interviewer. So we were excited for a podcast to learn more about you and to get some more insight from you.
Yeah, and that's like her worst nightmare.
100%.
Especially with the media. I mean, the media is so horrible to her, but I think she should have done, I think you're right. I think she should have had like a co-host like in the corner, like a producer co-host.
Yeah.
That's like someone that is either related to them, a family friend that's just kind of always going to be there. And then I think she should have talked. She didn't have to go so into depth on her own personal life, but I think she should have gone more into that recipe. She should have maybe done a few Ina moments, a few Martha Stewart moments, Stanley Tucci, Wishbone Kitchen. Like she should have had people who are more in the food space,
right,
and leaned more like into that.
Bachelor Nation fans have been anxiously awaiting the highly anticipated season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise. And you guys, the beach is finally back open, baby. Jesse Palmer will be returning as our beloved host, and everyone's favorite bartender, Wells Adams, is back to mix up some cocktails and dole out some nice advice. Also, joining our staff this season is former Bachelorette Hannah Brown, who will be making her debut as the head of Paradise Relations, where she will help plan special experiences for the romantic hopefuls. Now, they're shaking things up even more, if you can believe it, because their young singles are joined by Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette alumni crashing the beach. That's right, both Bold and Gold Seagulls will shoot their shot at love this season. It's all taking place in a new tropical oasis, the beautiful, stunning Costa Rica. Now, with new compatibility challenges along the way that are certain to test even the strongest of connections, this season proves that only those willing to pay the price will find true love in paradise. But even with all the new elements at play, audiences are sure to find comfort in what they know and love. The return of exciting fan favorites, steamy romances, and explosive drama. Because, finding love in the sun always comes with a little shade. So catch new episodes of Bachelor in Paradise Mondays at 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream the next day on Hulu.
Bachelor in Paradise Mondays at 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream the next day on Hulu. I also just think podcast is just not what people wanted from her.
Yes.
She should have done, I'm a firm believer, which this is one of the conversations I wanted to have with you. I really don't know how anyone can do a podcast and YouTube, or in her case, a podcast and a Netflix, which is basically her YouTube.
With that's my issue is that I do a weekly vlog and a podcast, and I'm like, what the fuck do I talk about?
I don't know how you must like really have to just always bank on having true guests that you talk about, that you interview your guest. Whereas my podcast is so much about my life, which I love. It's my long form content, right? Because if I didn't have this podcast, I would get on my stories and I would talk at length, and which, by the way, I already still do. Okay, I still do. But this is such an outlet for me. It's exactly what I need as a creator to like, blah, 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 blah. And so I have that. But if I also had a YouTube, I keep trying to do YouTube. Everyone's like, you would crush. And I love it. And when I do it, I'm like, these are so fun. Memories. I love the vlogs. I don't know how Brooke and Danielle do it. Like they both do YouTube and they also have their podcast, but they have each other, and co-hosts are so much like, it's such a wonderful thing to be able to do and have. Like when I have a podcast with you, who's like a real friend of mine who like could be like feels like a co-host vibe. When I have Anna Grace on, I always say when Anna Grace and I get off the podcast, I'm like, I could do this every day. Yeah, I understand how people have daily shows when you have
100%.
When you have a true connection with someone and you really could just like talk for hours. It is so clear to me how people have a daily show. Not that that's not so difficult. Oh my God, like still couldn't be me. But I get it, because I'm like, you have that flow and you have that energy and you have that ability to do it. And it's just, I don't know, I think she like really underestimated how hard it would be to do that. But I was going to ask you, because you do your weekly vlog and you also do your podcast, like what do you struggle with the most in that, the podcast or the vlog?
No, the podcast I struggle with the most by far, because with YouTube, it's just my life. And because so much of my stuff, like I'm so lucky, people just like home vlogs.
Well, they love watching. It's such a comfort.
Like they don't want, and I feel the same way. I don't watch, the second I'm like, my favorite vlogger leaves their home, I'm like, exit out. I don't care. Yeah. You're on a trip. I don't care. You go to Italy. I don't give a fuck. I literally don't care. I want to see you at home. That's it.
That's
like,
so
I don't
funny.
want anything outside of it. And there really is like such an audience on the internet for that, because it's the comfort vlogs, right? So like that to me is easier. But with podcasting, like I struggle a lot. I think also I'm like in like kind of a transition phase of my life that I don't even know what it is, because I'm like, I don't even know like what is my voice, who is the audience, because I've grown up a lot since I started it too, you know, and I've changed a lot. I've had like so many different eras. So I'm kind of in a space too where I'm even thinking with Meghan, I'm like, I don't know if I should be leaning more into hosting and food and stuff, or if I should be or the other thing is though, like I like talking about like life stuff, like I like that.
So funny, because I'm like, but you've had a podcast for 5 years, about 6 years, 10 years.
6
years. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, quit if you want to quit.
No, literally.
No, what's also, you know what, like you could always dial it back. Like not us having a business meeting while we're sitting here. I'm like, you could always dial it back and do an episode where you talk about your life once a month, or like twice a month or something.
Okay. So that's why I started doing things. I was actually talking to producer Courtney about this yesterday, but that's why I started doing like series. So I do like book club every 6 weeks. So we have that, and I'll do like, I have this dream. Courtney, she gave me a genius idea, because I'm like, I really, like if it were up to me, I would only have people over the age of like 70, 65 on the podcast. Because to me, that's the most interesting conversations. It is next to impossible to do. It's hard to find people who are willing. It's hard to find people who are good on camera. It's actually like an impossible thing.
I get it.
And I don't know how to find them. And so she's like, you should put an ad in. So I'm going to do it where like I put an ad in the newspaper, and then I'm going to host a dinner party for like all the 4 people that I pick, and then it'll be like a month-long series. So I'm going to start doing things like that.
But like, I can't listen to it.
It'll be so good. Like
I can't.
I have my grandma on next week, and that's like really what's inspired it.
I asked my grandma to come on my podcast, and she was just like wrecked with nervousness. And then I was
oh my God, no, my grandma's like lights, camera, action, bitch. Like
dead. Oh my God.
Like she's obsessed with being on camera. But I do think like, for me, the way I've tried to like transition how I see the show is more of like an actual show versus just like a podcast.
Right.
So like I want to kind of do other things in it and just like try it out and see like this series, yes, but also like a lot of the people that I have on the podcast, I'm either really interested in them or they're like very good friends of mine.
Right.
You know, like Harrison Wallace has come on like twice recently. Like that's really easy. Like, and we're more into like food and stuff. So I think I just feel like I'm in a flop era right now at the podcast, but like after every flop era. Actually, I feel like I'm in a flop era in every area. But like
I have a flop area every other month of my podcast.
Yeah.
And then this, by God, something will happen where I'll have like 2 incredible episodes. And I'm like, and by the way, what would the world do without probably a podcast? And by the way, I'm literally meant for this. Like,
I was born to do this.
like, how could the internet survive without probably a podcast? Because that motherfucking episode brought people out of the trenches. People were coming out of the that is the best episode ever. And then I'll have like 3 episodes where I'm like, and why do I even fucking do this shit anymore? And didn't I already tell this story? Like,
you know what's interesting to me though? Like my favorite podcast in the world is World's First Podcast, the Foster Sisters. I'm so obsessed with them. They like think I'm a stalker for sure. Like they like, dude, one time we were in Austin for a South by, and like they're also with Dear Media. And I was talking to the Dear Media girls, and they're like, well, guess what? Like Sarah Foster's coming to the dinner tomorrow. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Oh my God. I'm like, you bitches. I'm like, I'm your OG show. If I'm not fucking right next to her, I'm gonna lose my mind. So I'm like, oh my God, what do I wear? What do I do? I'm so excited. Like, this is gonna be awesome. We're gonna be best friends. Like, she doesn't know it yet because like they hate influencers. So like, she thinks she's gonna hate me when she meets me. She's gonna love me, obviously.
Right.
So I'm like, this is amazing. And then I get a text like, hey girl, I don't want to ruin your day, but she had to fly home early. She won't be at dinner. I'm like, why am I even going? Like,
those girls scare me. I like,
oh my God, I'm so obsessed with them.
I watched, I see clips of, I need to listen to their podcast. If you like their podcast, I need to listen to it. Obviously, I've
listened to every single episode since the beginning, besides like one astrology one, because I was kind of over the astrology talk about it.
Oh my gosh, I need to like actually dive in, but I just see the clips because they are like the unbothered queens.
Yeah.
Now, when life gets busy, often workouts are kind of the first thing to go. And listen, I get it. Especially now that I'm pregnant. I'm like, who has the time or the energy? But it's really easy to make it whenever you kind of can do things from home. It's the act of getting in the car and going to the gym for me. You know, that's the most brutal part. So I love that we have an at-home gym, but also there's some other options out there like Tonal. Okay, with Tonal, you can make sure that you're checking a workout off your to-do list with their smart and compact strength training system. Okay, right in your home. We love things that are at home 24/7. All right, now. Tonal provides the convenience of a full gym and the guidance of a personal trainer anytime at home with one sleek system. Now, I happen to be married to a trainer, which is great, but if you didn't find yourself in a similar situation, okay, not everyone does, then Tonal can be that person for you. All right. Now, it is designed to reduce your mental load. We love that because when you're working out, the last thing you need to do is have mental stress on top of your mental load. And I know that sometimes when you go to the gym, you're like looking all around, all the machines, it can be really daunting. Not Tonal. Tonal is the ultimate strength training system, all in one, helping you focus less on workout planning and more on getting the results that you want to see. So no more second guessing your form, all right, because that's truly the worst. Tonal gives you real-time coaching cues to dial in your form and help you lift safely and effectively. Now, one thing I definitely learned from James is how important your form is. We do not want anyone out here getting hurt. So I love that Tonal really does focus on that and helps dial in your form to make sure that you are, like I said, lifting safely and effectively and getting strong in a way that doesn't end up with you getting hurt. All right. So we love Tonal for that. And after a quick assessment, Tonal is going to set the optimal weight for every move and adjustments in 1 pound increments as you get stronger. So you're always challenged, but that's so cool, right? So it's such a smart device. You can really just tell that it adjusts in these tiny increments, just knowing exactly when you're able to go up, go down, etc. So Tonal lets you choose from a variety of expert-led workouts, from strength to aero hit to yoga, and they've got it all, and mobility to help you and keep you coming back for more. So for a limited time, go to Tonal.com to get $500 off site-wide. That's an incredible deal. That's Tonal.com for $500 off site-wide. Tonal.com for $500 off site-wide.
They actually remind me a little bit of Mary-Kate and Ashley in the way that I think that Mary-Kate and Ashley, no one knows how they act or interact, but they kind of give that vibe of like, we could give 7 fucks less. Yes. Like, but they are in this like public space, in this public forum with their podcast. And obviously like they do a lot of interviews because of their show, Nobody Wants Us, which I was obsessed with. And then they have favorite daughter. So I'm like, I know that they are much more like accessible in the sense of like, you can learn more about them, but they give me the same aura that Mary-Kate and Ashley would give, like and throwing like, their Birkins around, not giving a fuck. But have you seen the clips of they're like I don't know if it's their employees or their interns, like them doing like
Laura, I think is her name.
Okay,
like
you think?
No, I'm like no.
I think her name's Laura.
I think her name's Laura. I'm actually pretty sure like Ricky or something like that. She was on the podcast. Great episode, by the way.
Okay,
well when they're doing because like
they're
Sarah's
doing the trends.
Scary.
They're doing the trends.
Yeah,
and she's like, she did that trend with her. She's like, do you want to get do you want to get a margarita? She's like, do you think we could like go get dinner after this? We get a margarita or something?
She's like, no.
And she was like, sorry, what? Are you talking to me? And she's like, yeah, like we could like get a margarita, like maybe after work we could like go out and get a margarita. And she's like, me and you. And she's like, yeah, I just thought that'd be fun. And she's like, I'm crawling inside of my body. I'm like, ah! And she's like, I mean, I don't really drink, but like
maybe coffee
coffee.
work hours.
Yeah. She's like, when we were like working or something, but I don't know, probably not. And I was like, oh man, I actually want to die. Like I actually want to die. And they just scare me.
And by the way, Sarah is definitely a bit scary, but she likes that. And also I just want to speak on behalf of them as their like self-proclaimed
liaison
spokesperson. Yeah. They would love the Mary Kate and Ashley reference. They would really like that a lot. There's definitely times also I'm like a little bit of scared of Sarah because I'm like, maybe she would hate me. I think Aaron and I, like, I really do just think like if I am like having a good day and we're together, I think that they would love me. I really do. I think that we could really get there. Definitely a little, I totally get it like that, but I'm obsessed with them.
I would have to, there's people that I'm obsessed with that I know for a fact would be like, yeah, she's too much. Like about me.
Honestly, if I were to feel that way about anyone that I'm obsessed with, it would be them, to where I'm like, no, I would, it's kind of like don't meet your heroes.
Right.
Because like I know that it wouldn't like.
You wouldn't vibe. I'm like, know? I would have to alter myself a little bit. I don't care to do that for real friends of mine.
Totally.
And I know that I would have to like, if I wanted to be friends with them, I would have to like really reel it in, tone it down, and then and be a version that is inside of me, which is like cool, blasé, like chill girl that's just like vibing and relaxed. That's in me, but like it is always overridden by like whatever that show is. In-N-Out. What's it called? In-N-Out. That's the burger place. Where all the emotions, this little kid show.
Oh,
Inside Out.
So close.
Okay, close. Inside Out. It's like there is that cool girl in me that people are like, Shannon's so cool, Shannon's so fashionable, Shannon's whatever. But like whoever the like crazy crackhead is that's inside my brain is always like, override, red button, red button, red button, and like she comes out. And like my real friends are like, yeah, that's Shannon. Like we love her. Like, but that is always gonna override my cool. So if I were to hang out with them, I know I could make them. I think this way about I love Stassi Schroeder, and I think that she'd be like, oh, I have to go away for a little bit around Shannon. Like, but I'm always like, Stassi would love me. And then I'm like,
Taylor Strucker is like her best friend.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, that's true. I feel like I'm a lot alike with Taylor Strucker. Yes, maybe she'd probably be like, I already have one of these. I fucking do not. No. I just like, I would have to change myself, you know? I'd have to be a version of myself the whole time that I'm not the whole time.
I think I'd be okay with changing myself for the Foster sisters.
I'm cracking up.
Like, honestly, like, I'm so obsessed. And like, what's so weird is I had no idea who they were leading up to
I need to consume their stuff
I remember
more.
one time I was in Brentwood, this like years ago.
All right.
And I was with these people. And they were like, oh, do you know who that is? I think they're coming out like Tracy Anderson or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no. And they said, the Foster sisters. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I had no idea they were. And then it was like a year later. I have no idea why I started listening to this podcast. No clue. Maybe because they had like Kris Jenner as a guest on first or something.
Okay.
And it clicked. Those are the girls that I saw. And ever since then, I've been so locked in.
I love them. I need to consume their stuff.
Oh my God. And like, I don't watch TV ever. And I watched that. I like had it on my calendar when like their show was dropping. I'm like obsessed. Like,
it is such a good show.
And it was amazing.
It's such a good show.
I am obsessed with them. And yeah, I just like everything about them. I just want to be. I love them.
Do you know what I just realized the other day? That I had that moment where I was like, oh my God. That is what you just said, where you saw them and you were like, oh, I don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. And then like a year later, you're like, I'm locked in. I like him. They're super fan. So I obviously Shaboozey. I'm not like a super fan of Shaboozey, but like love his work, love the Tipsy song, love the bar song, whatever. And I like became such a fan of the bar song like everyone else. Whenever we had our wedding in Italy, we flew out this country singer, okay, and he sang the bar song, and the British people lost their fucking minds. So like half the party was James' British side, right, and then half were Americans. They were obsessed with that song to the point that they would send me videos after the wedding, like months after the wedding, being like, someone pour me up another shot of whiskey. And it was like so cute and adorable to me. They're like, we can't stop listening to this song. Like we love it so much. And it was like so nice. And I was just like, how funny. Well, then the other day, I was talking actually to my ex. We're still great friends. And he said something like, he said something about Shaboozey. And I was like, Shaboozey. And then he goes, yeah, remember he used to come over, like when we lived, like he used to come over to the house all the time. And I was like, and then it hit me. And I was like, Cause my ex was an artist, so he was always having like co-writes, whatever. It hit me all of a sudden. I immediately remembered who the guy was, and I was like, that was Shabuzi. And he was like, because I was always like, y'all do your thing. I'm going to sleep, or I'm out like drinking with my girlfriends. He's like, yeah, Shannon. And then he hit me. I was like, wait. He loved the way I decorated the house. He's like, yeah, he always complimented you on how you decorated the house. And I was like, dude, Shabuzi was just at our house being like, yo, I love your, like, who did this? And at the time he was like, my girlfriend did it all. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, me and Shabuzi are boys. And not really. But
that's actually crazy.
Isn't that crazy? And he was like, yeah, we've still kept in touch. Like, he's such a great guy. Like, through all his like crazy blow up and stuff, like we're still friends. I was like, oh my God, I wish I would have had this little, me telling my ex, I'm like, oh my God, at my wedding, my ex is just like, yeah, we're such good friends. He's like, I'm like, at my wedding, all the British people were freaking out over this song. I wish I would have remembered to be like, yeah, we're friends. He's like, you're not friends. And I was like, I know, but you're by proxy.
But you would have just said that you were friends.
I would have just been like, you used to come to my house all the time. So
he loves the way I decorate.
So funny.
And again, because it's specific, they'd believe it.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, well, I am burning up in this absolutely gorgeous terry cloth outfit that I love, that is breathable but not under these podcast lights. Shouts out the bar, shouts out Bridget. We love you. And I love you, Kenzie, so much. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for all your hot takes. We will have her on again and again and again, because she is a queen like that. And I feel like you're just an easy, if it was you and I all the time, we could have a daily podcast.
No, literally. I've been saying that.
Oh, I love you. Thank you so much for listening, for tuning in, and see you next week.